presentations on FusionDebug and introduction to interactive CFML step debugging. Specifically, we're going to be looking at step debugging using Railo. My name is David Stockton. I'm one of the technical consultants at Integral. What that means is that I help our customers with a lot of different technical problems, so I see a lot of different environments, and I also am involved in some training elements of the company. So we train people to use our Fusion Reactor software, which is an enterprise server monitoring solution, and also we have FusionDebug, and currently in beta is our latest product, Fusion Analytics. So what you're going to see in this presentation, we're going to have a look at installing FusionDebug, connecting FusionDebug up to a Railo application server, and then we're going to run through some of the major features inside FusionDebug and how they can help you. So the latest features that we have in FusionDebug version 3, we support a wide range of platforms, so that means application servers and also Eclipse platforms. So FusionDebug is a plugin to your Eclipse development environment, and we support various different versions of Eclipse. We can on the step debugging side, we can support conditional breakpoints, breaking on runtime exceptions, a feature that we call run to lie, and we also have built in some advanced stepping technology, which means that it's very fast to step through various lines of code. We can do quite complex source code lookups, so mapping source code on your development machine to source code on the server that you're running against. We can view a wide range of variables and the different scopes that ColdFusion has available. We have a feature called the Expression Watcher, which allows you to take certain expressions and watch their changing value as you step through the code. You can support multiple requests on the same server, so debugging multiple requests simultaneously on the same server, and seeing full stack trace information, so going right back up through the stack of execution. And then we'll come back and do a quick summary of what we've seen. So let's get started. Last week we did a presentation on Fusion Reactor, and Fusion Reactor, as I said, is our enterprise server monitoring software. And during that presentation I covered installing Railo and connecting Fusion Reactor up with that. And I'm going to use the same base environment that we set up in that presentation, but let's just have a quick recap of what that looks like. And if we go to getrailo.org, which is the Railo open source website, the download link here at the top, and you'll see that there are several different versions of Railo that are available for download. And if we scroll down about halfway down the page, then we see this Railo server version, and I'm on Windows, so it was this version here that we set up. So Railo on Resin, and it comes with its own built-in Java runtime environment. So that was the version that we downloaded and installed last week, and I downloaded it and installed it with all the basic default options, so everything is a complete default environment for what you would get if you downloaded Railo. So let's have a look at the FusionDebug element. So our website for Fusion Reactor and our general home page is fusion-reactor.com, or you can also use fusion-debug.com. And on the home page you have this section here, FusionDebug, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. We have a bit of basic information about what FusionDebug is. Take the download link, and the first thing that you're confronted with is that there are several different ways to install FusionDebug. As I mentioned at the beginning, FusionDebug is an Eclipse platform plugin. So that means that if you already have an Eclipse environment, perhaps Adobe Flex Builder or Flash Builder, maybe you have a ColdFusion Builder environment, maybe you have your own Java Eclipse environment, or perhaps you have a CF Eclipse environment, you can install FusionDebug as a plugin into that environment. If you don't have an existing Eclipse environment, we also have a easy to use and install complete down installer So if you click on this top option here, Install Instructions, you'll see that for Windows, Linux and Mac we have a complete IDE installer, and what that will do is it will download a copy of FusionDebug version 2, and it will download Eclipse, and it will put all that into an Eclipse package for you and help you install Eclipse onto your system. So it's a real simple way of getting Eclipse installed onto your machine. And once you've done that, then you need to upgrade the Eclipse plugin in that environment. And I already have an Eclipse environment. In fact, my development environment, which I'll start up now, I have actually based around Adobe Flex Builder, which is now called Flash Builder. But I'm just going to start up my development environment. So this is my completely standard development environment where I would develop using the CF Eclipse plugin on Eclipse. But you don't have to use Eclipse or CF Eclipse as your standard development environment. You could use HomeSite or Dreamweaver. It really doesn't matter what you're using to edit the source files. You can just switch into your Eclipse and FusionDebug environment whenever you want to do some debugging, and then perhaps close that and then go back to Dreamweaver or HomeSite or even Notepad for editing your source files. However you normally work, you don't have to change your development process. So now I have my Eclipse environment ready. Now I'm ready to install FusionDebug. So I'm just going to flick back to the web page here, and we'll just have a look at the instructions. And what we have to do is we go to the Find and Install dialog. So I'm going to follow the instructions and do that. So that's here under Help, and then Software Updates, Find and Install. And I want to search for new features to install, and I'm going to install those using a remote site. So that remote site is our FusionDebug update site. And I'm going to grab the URL from the web page and drop that in there. And it's now automatically selected the FusionDebug update site. I can click Finish, and it's found that there is a new feature for me to install, which is FusionDebug version 3. So I'm going to tick that, click Next, accept the license agreement, click Next again, and off it goes. And it has to go ahead and download and then install the plugin. So if we just bear with me for 1 second while that goes ahead. Yep. So we can see now that that's downloading the plugin. So whilst that's happening, I'm just going to click back here. And once we've done that, we will then need to make some changes to our application server. So in order for the debugger to connect to your application server, you need to make sure that there is a TCP socket open between your development machine and the application server, and you need to put your JVM into debug mode. Now there are quite a few different application servers that we support. So for example, we support Adobe ColdFusion and Railo, several different versions of both of those application servers. And what I need to do is I need the instructions for Railo. So I'm just going to go to the support homepage of our website, and I'm going to type in FusionDebug Railo on Resin, which is what I have in my environment. And we'll see that the top result here is the one that gives me the instructions on how to set up my Railo server. Again, I'm using the Railo on Resin server. I'm not using the Railo Express, which is running on Jetty, I believe, or the latest versions may also now be running on Resin also. So let's just see how the Eclipse installation is going. So click Install All, and here we go. So it's downloaded FusionDebug over the internet and it's installed it. I now have to restart my Eclipse environment to get that plugin installed, so I'm just going to click Yes and allow it to restart my Eclipse environment. So now I have FusionDebug installed, but you'll see that my environment looks exactly the same as it did before. And what we need to do is follow these instructions